Slater, what's up? Freshy's here. Freshy, you can join whenever you want, but that it's not Wednesday. It doesn't have to be Wednesday. You know what I give. Oh, here we go. Freshy, how are you? What's up?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, fab. So first, I'm so excited we're doing this IG Live. I feel like, I'm trying to remember when we first connected. I know we've been like we work and like we'll text each other or whatever, but I feel like it was definitely through work, but
It definitely was through work. And I think we ended up running into each other on a red carpet, if I'm not mistaken. But I definitely know it was through work.
Yeah, but here we are. But yeah, thanks for hopping on the live. I'm excited for this conversation because, it's all about personal branding, NPR. And I don't know about you, but like when I was like first starting in PR, because we're mainly behind the scenes, it's like, I started off in agency, so it was like, don't be seen, don't talk, there wasn't a sense of like anything, basically no personal branding. And that's part of the reason why, when you go out on your own or, when you're consulting, there's kind of like that gap.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited to have this conversation.
No, me too. I think one of the things that I always try to preach is like showing up as yourself no matter where you are in life and who you work for and what it is that you do. And so I'm super excited about this conversation. I am a huge fan of personal branding. I feel like you branding yourself right, it can only do wonders for your clients as well. So I'm a huge fan of like the whole personal brand conversation. So this should be a good talk.
For sure. I'm just gonna pin a post really quick. But everybody that's joining, welcome. Like, show some love in the comments where you're from. I'm just pinning a comment really quick. If you have questions are welcome. You can like drop them in the question box or in the comments.
I see Jason. What's going on, Jason?
1 second. Questions in the comment box. Here we go. Or comments.
When it's here.
Okay, here we go. Post. Done. Okay, so before I, intro you, I'm sure most people on here know who you are, but I'll just introduce myself. So for you all that are in the chat, so I'm Kenneth Courtney. I'm based in New York. One of my cousins in here. Hey, love. Based in New York. So I am a publicist. I consult, have my own consultancy, Courtney Creative PR. Very niche entertainment, but mainly in the queer space, queer LGBTQ causes across fashion, entertainment, and lifestyle. But yeah, I'm excited to be on the live talking to Freshy. Like we work together, seeing each other in events, and so outside of the PR, when I was kind of like early in PR and like on social, I would always see your work on your page and like how you branded yourself. And coming from an agency background where, we weren't encouraged to, do that type of stuff, I was always kind of inspired by how you went about that. So I'd love to just kick it off hearing about, your journey from, I know you're from Houston, now you're in Atlanta. So how did that come about?
It'll be 7 years actually on the 30th. It'll be 7 years since I've been in Atlanta. I honestly did not know anything about PR. I never grew up saying I wanted to be a publicist. That's just not something that I ever intended on. I remember wanting change. I up and moved from Houston to Atlanta. At the time, I was a stylist. And what I learned more so then when I was styling, or what I learned about myself, is I more so liked the fact that I could connect the dots for people, do not the dots for brands, and put them and personalities, and that part that stuck out to me most about styling. So when I came to Houston, when I left Houston and I came to Atlanta, I said, I'm going to come to Atlanta and I'm going to build a firm or a place or a hub where people can go, and no matter what it is that they wanted to do, we would have like a one-stop shop. We would have a one-stop shop, and they'll be able to get their styling needs, be able to uh, get media attention, and so on and so forth. And so that's what I built. I was trying to build a hub, and then more so started off as a blog and me connecting the dots for other people, and not me connecting the dots for other people to the people in which they needed to hire. But I end up falling in love with the PR space, research more and more and more, and now we're here. I own one of the fastest growing PR firms by African American male, and pretty much run all of Atlanta for the most part.
Wow. Love that. Love that. That's what's up. And I love like how you explained your journey too in terms of like connecting the dots, being a stylist, working with other people. Because like my journey, I majored in PR, but honestly what I've learned is like that interpersonal, like connecting the dots with people, forging authentic relationships. Like that's where the work happens, and that's not something that you learn in school. Like I was talking to Josh in Atlanta, who you know, and we were just saying how, you go to school for PR and you learn how to like write a press release or, build a media list, but it's really, it's interpersonal. It's conversations. That's where everything's happening. So, yeah, just love hearing that. So, I mean, you mentioned, how you kind of just started connecting the dots for people. So how do we get from, styling, going to Atlanta, connecting the dots, having a blog to like, all right, I'm about to do this PR thing. I'm about to, make it work. What did that look like?
It was a leap of faith, really. It was me just knowing that I wanted something different and I needed to find my purpose. And I always tell people, I feel like PR found me, because at that point I had done styling, I had done production assistant, I did all of these jobs that had physical titles, in which we know these titles as. I tried all of those jobs because I knew that I wanted to be in the industry. I wanted to be in the industry, and I wanted to be one of the people who was going to be a liaison in the industry. And so I literally just did, I just did everything. And so leaving styling was very easy because I never really liked to style people. That was never something I was passionate about. I like to get dressed up and I like to be stylish for myself, but I've never been passionate about styling someone else. And so I knew that that wasn't what made me happy. Then again, connecting those brands with influential people at the time, there was not a niche. That it wasn't like it's not a niche for that. Like you either a stylist or a personal shopper. There was nothing in between. So I thought, and then again, after researching and figuring out what I was doing was fashion PR, I was connecting the dots. And also because I had my own blog, I would write the stories about the dots I connected. One thing led to another, and someone was like, you're doing fashion PR, and it kind of just stuck. And I was like, okay, what is this PR word? I keep on hearing this PR word. What is PR? What is PR? And lo and behold, again, taught myself. I was always I still am a student to the industry. A lot of research, just really, really, really wanting to get better at my craft. And that's kind of how I got to the point where I'm at now.
That's what's up. We already got questions in the comment box in the chat, but before we get, because conversations around personal branding, but before we get there, and this is something that I've been learning, as I'm building my consultancy. But so there's the point to where you start doing PR, connecting the dots, just saying, okay, like this can, this is a business for me. I'm getting clients, I can make that work. But the actual business of running a business, right? Like, so tell, for all the like entrepreneurs, creatives, watching me included, because I've been learning, talk about that journey or process from like, okay, I'm hustling, I'm like making money, I'm doing my thing, to like learning how to actually like run a business, because it's been a learning curve for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like to talk to other people who are in the same boat.
So for me, I think you have to be honest with yourself. You have to start off with yourself. A lot of people don't know this. I don't run my business myself. Like, I'm the face of my business. I do the work. There's no such thing as me not being a part of any of the accounts on my roster. I literally touch, see, feel everything, because it is the I Am Phreshy brand, and at the end of the day, I'm responsible for people who are signed, whether it comes from account manager, anything. And when I say I don't run my own business, because I know what my strengths are, I know I'm better in the streets, because I know that I am better with in-person reactions. I have a team of people who run certain aspects of my business for me. And so one of the biggest things I think people think entrepreneurship is, and it's not, it's so far from the truth, is people think entrepreneurship is you doing it yourself, and you have to have these get it out the mud stories, and you have to be going crazy in order for it to work. No, I knew very early on, again, I like the street part, I like the work part of the aspect, what I don't, all of the paperwork and stuff. So I put people in position to do things. I, for one, hate writing. I can write a press release. I can write a press release at this point with my eyes closed, but I prefer not to write a press release, because I just prefer not to write a press release. However, the press release has to be written. So I have a copywriter on my team now, and I kind of just give them the points. They write the press release and it goes through that. And so really scaling up and understanding that even as an entrepreneur, it's okay to allow and trust other people to help you see your vision all the way through.
Yeah, and I will second that, because I'm a creative first and then a business person second. So I've had a lot of trial and error and learning as we go. But I feel like now, like, I'm getting the groove of that. But for sure, like with I have a very small team. My assistant, who's now, I don't want to call him my assistant, but he's like, I consider him my right hand full. He's a publicist at this point, but I've learned to like trust him with certain projects, and like you said, like writing press releases, pitching, so that frees me up to do other things. So yeah, I mean, I definitely second that. One thing I want to talk about, like yourself, I started off in fashion PR, then I went into like lifestyle before doing my own thing, but I work with Kid Ken, who's a rapper. Most of your clients are like celebrities, music, hip hop, Offset and Saucy, you know what I mean? So for, I guess, anyone watching this, like an entrepreneur, when it comes to, because that's a lot of work in presenting yourself and selling yourself to be able to lock in clients at that caliber. So talk a little bit about how getting clients, like what is that process for you, and what's worked, what's maybe not worked?
Honestly, I can say I'm in a blessed place where my work kind of introduces me before I can introduce myself to people. So a lot of my clientele as of lately have all been sent my way based off of things I've done in the past. Um, so it's that part, and gaining the clientele is not really work no more. The only part is, it's because I perform um, on such a high level in this PR space. I feel like I do get a lot of clientele that are not necessarily ready for a publicist like myself. And they probably need someone who is more so on their level or at an entry level state. Other than that, it's like I don't really have to. I don't really have to sell myself, because I just show up as my every single time. And I think that was one of the coolest things. I think that's one of the coolest things about my brand. Even with being approached with by Offset, and being approached by Saucy, or being with Jada, these are people that I was in the room and in these circles with anyways, and they always saw. I didn't necessarily always have to tell them what I did, but when they found what it was that I did, then they became my client. So this is like literally showing up as me. showing up as me and allowing my work to outspeak me.
Right, personal branding, right? So they're coming to you because they already know what it gives. So, speaking of that, I want to like dive more into the personal branding side. Because I would say for me, another reason why I'm excited to have this conversation is, I've been doing PR, for myself around like 10-ish years. And so I just recently have started like more intentionally focusing on personal branding. So going back into that, when I would look at your page and like the work that you would do, like the PR classes, or like the features that you get. I've read your Forbes feature. Were you intentionally thinking about, okay, were you strategic in like lining those things up so that you were marketing yourself, or was it more so just like organic to what you had going on business wise?
So that's a two-answer question. So it initially started off as me. Organically just getting people interested in wanting to speak to me, wanting to know my story, wanting to know who's this person behind their favorite entertainers. So that's kind of how it started, and I would push it off. I'm like, oh no, well, I don't really want to do this interview, but I have this client. Can you interview him? And then it was actually a client of mine who was like, no, you're just as lit. Blame on Quay. He was like, you're just as lit. You need to start branding yourself. And he was huge on social media at the time that he so because he gave me the okay to talk about myself, to be seen, I saw how important it was for me to continuously be seen. And not only that, I began branding myself because I feel like publicists matter. We matter. We are key. We're key components to this world. And so if I'm going to show up as a publicist, I'm going to show up as the publicist. If I'm going to be a representation of this elite group of individuals, I'm going to make sure when I show up right. And so I started taking all of those opportunities and I started building strategy based off of how they came, because it also needed to make sense. It also needs to make sense because I always say this, and I'm very vocal about this. I'm not an influencer. Never wanted to be an influencer. I'm not a celebrity. I never want to be a celebrity. I go to work every single day. I show up every single day as a publicist. I love being a publicist. And so I always have to make sure that everything I'm doing reflects PR first.
Preach. I am on that same wave. I love everything you just said, especially since, coming from the agency side, I don't know what it is, but just being conditioned to play small or not be vocal about certain things. And when you really think about it, like the publicist is the one that is coming up with ideas, coming up with the strategy.
Right.
You're the counselor, the therapist. And you don't get a lot of, you're the first, you don't get a lot of recognition, but you're the first one to get blamed. And so, that's why I find working for myself a lot more rewarding, because, you're able to establish, your own brand, your own work ethic within the work you're doing. But so I want to ask, like, PR to PR, because, you do work with a lot of celebrities, like, thinking about the business of PR. So when it comes to managing clients, especially celebrities, so how, who it can be kind of demanding, or sometimes, the lines get blurred between, okay, PR, strategy, managing your image, managing your narrative, all of that, to like personal assistant, or, the lines can sometimes get blurred when it comes to expectations. So what's been your experience like managing expectations, making sure, that you're being respected on any team that you're working with?
It honestly just depends on the client, and I know that sounds unbusiness-like to say, but it really honestly depends on the client. I have some clients that I will jump through flames and hoops for, but that relationship is there. It became, although it started off as a business relationship, it became a family relationship, and so those are just like any friendship or any relationship that you build. It's it's as strong as the bond. And so I do have those clients. I also have the clients that it's very much strictly, this is what you're paying me for. This is the only thing I'm going to do. This is, you pay to talk to me on Monday. We're only talking on Mondays. You're not getting me at Tuesday at 12 a.m. So I think it just really depends on the client and the relationship between client and publicist. And then that did more. I've always been the person that did more than what I said that I was going to do. That's just because that's the type of person that I am. If the floor needs to be mopped and the mop is right there, I'm going to mop the floor. I'm not going to continue to walk over a puddle of water. So it really just all depends. It all depends. But I will say is you have to also keep yourself first in all of it. So what makes you happy? What makes your soul glow? What makes you want to get up and do this every single day over and over and over again?
For sure. Now, I remember like one of back to my fashion PR days when I realized fashion maybe wasn't the industry for me, maybe in that way. But I was working in an agency, and one of my clients I worked on was Veer Wang. And I remember it was like Saturday, I'm in New York, I'm in the back of like a taxi. You know, it's the weekend, I'm turned up, and my boss calls me and she's like, oh, Lady Gaga just wore a Veer Wang dress, we need to like write a press release. I'm like, I'm in the back of a car like on the weekend. I was like, I don't know if this is, you know, if I'm gonna have to stop my life, then, you know, Lady Gaga needs to know who I am. But, you know, that just goes to say, you know, different journeys. But I do want to, I missed some of the questions in the comments, so I want to like pull some of those up. So here's one from Zaquan Champ. So how do you as a PR person make money? Do you have an upfront fee that you charge clients you're interested in, or do you take a percentage of whatever you bring in? How does that work?
First and foremost, I always start this off. As publicists, we are luxury service providers. PR is a luxury service. Not everybody needs PR. You definitely have to have a budget for PR. We're just like your lawyer. We're just like your CPA. We're just like any other retainer-based service provider that you have. Once you get to that particular point in your journey, in whether you're a author, whether you're a movie star, whether you are a musician or a designer, once you get to the point where you can afford a publicist, will make more sense, but we get paid off of so monthly, every month, same day, rent, our bills due.
Oh, no, you're here. I thought you froze for a minute.
That's the easiest way to explain it.
I would agree, and I love what you said about. And I need to bring that into my language, but yeah, it's a luxury service, a luxury. Not everyone needs PR. Not everyone ready for PR. One thing, like even my clients like to ask, have they had PR before? Because a lot of people have preconceived notions of what PR is or isn't, and so there's like a element of education sometimes that goes into it, and managing expectations. But yeah, I 100%. Trying to see if I missed any other questions. I know we have some in the box. But Slater, okay, so Slater asked, influence versus impact, which is more valuable, and how do you harness and or grow these?
I definitely think impact is way more valuable, because if you have impact and you have influence, you have to be impactful to be able to influence anything. So I definitely think I definitely would go with impact. You want to be intentional in all that you do. You want to be impactful in all that you do, and you want to just make sure that you show up every time. So definitely impact.
I would agree. And I feel like impact, I mean, that's organic, you know, like, I feel like now, and even Josh mentioned this yesterday, it's all about like building community,
Mm-hmm.
which is, organic. It's not, yeah, it's organic. It's about building community. And when you build community, not only do you have influence with that community, but a certain impact. I'm like, what other questions? Here we go. The F state. What are 3 major factors that have led to your success?
3 major factors that led to my success. I'm not gonna go for an answer, so just always being consistent with my efforts. Uh, work hard. And a lot of people don't know this about me, but I am always on time. Like either I'm on time, right on time, or I'm in places before time. I always want to scope and see the room before the room fills up. I always want to go and what the vibe is going to give. I'm always, unless I just something crazy and I can't be on time. 9 times 10, I'm always on time. I'm never the person that asks, when does the party end? That's not, when does it start? That's the only time that matters.
Love it. Okay, so going back to and I'll go back to the questions, y'all, in the box and all that, but going back to the conversation around personal branding, for like entrepreneurs who are watching or out there, what would you say is one of the biggest, I guess, opportunities for personal branding that we should be doing?
One of the biggest opportunities is social media, and I don't think people take their social media as serious as they can. You look at things like Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn, and I even have a profile on Indeed. That is your visual resume prior to anyone knowing who you are. So set that up as it should be. Like, you want to appear, not appear, be who you are online.
Oh, you went on mute.
Oh, did I?
Okay, I hear you.
So yeah, be who you are online as you are in person, and just make sure that you're always showing up as the best version of yourself. So utilize social media to your advantage. Utilize social media as a marketing tool. Use it as a tool to sell who you are. And I think, and that goes beyond just your profile. It's what you comment. It's what you comment on other people's profiles. It's what you say underneath the shade room comments. It's the content and when you post and how you're posting. So you just show up and use it to your advantage.
Love it. I'm definitely taking heed to that for sure. So we're both PR, so I'm gonna gossip just a little bit. Not really, but so there's a new show on BET, The Impact ATL, which I saw had launched, and I was like, oh, like, this is actually, I'm into it. Lakia's on there. Who else? Ari, Destior, Tay. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is a cool, like, the young, working artists, musicians. So I wanted to ask, like, in terms when it comes to like personal branding, like your clients being on there, was that a project that you like actively pitched a client for, or they kind of like reached out, or are you not allowed to say?
So honestly, it is a show that was created by Quality, and they personally reached out to each one of my clients. There was a few of my other clients who were supposed to be on the show, but the cast kind of changed before the cast that you see now. And so it was a show pretty much written about those people's lives. And so it was just, an organic thing, and we talked about the team. Is this something that we should do, should be included in this? And I felt like yes, especially the Jadas and the Desiors, art. I just feel like a lot of times people are quick to say those girls have no talent, when in all actuality, there is some level of talent to be able to attract people at a mass rate.
Yeah, no, I wanted to talk about it because, like, when I saw, like, the marketing for it from, like, a PR perspective, I was like, okay, this is cute. Like, it's giving actual, like, industry working girls entertainment. I have to catch up on, like, a few of the episodes. So it felt like a good look. So I wanted to get, your PR perspective on that. Going back to the questions.
Because I don't know if my phone is about to die, but I think I just saw the 10% light.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap quick. So I'll do like 2 more questions. If you had to pick one social media platform to build and grow your community, what would it be and why?
If I have to pick one to grow my community, I'd say Instagram. One is the most recognizable. 2, it offers you so many different there's so many different entities within Instagram itself that allows you to kind of build. And let's be honest, we love pictures. We're visual people, love pictures, and so like pictures video quality is just best on Instagram.
Yeah, visual storytelling, very powerful. So unless if you have questions in the comment, I would hurry up and drop them now. But what was I gonna ask? So yeah, what's Phreshy working on? What's next? What are some PR goals? What would you like to impart upon everyone here?
So right now, I'm currently working on, 1, catching up. 2, getting. I'm hiring more people on my team because I want to get to a place where I'm not as all over the place as I am now. So I'm definitely
Y'all
hiring.
hear that?
Definitely hiring. I am going to relaunch my masterclass series. I know I've been hinting on it for a while, but that's next. Um, I recently signed on to do this show that deals with HBCU and pride and LGBT issues. So I'm super excited about that. I actually filmed for that tomorrow. That's so funny. And then just continuously growing the I Am Phreshy brand. That's my babe, my first priority. I love everything about my firm. So I think just continuously building that and making sure that I'm getting better at being a publicist.
Fab, love it. So I know you need a charge. So wrapping up again, want to thank you for sharing this space, talking about PR. As I've been building my business, I definitely have been watching your work. And it's great to have peers that are cool and supportive. And yeah, thanks for being a part of this IG Live. Everyone here, you can connect with me on IG. You can follow me on my business page, Courtney Creative PR. And yeah, when I'm in Atlanta, again, I will definitely hit you up. I already told Josh.
Yes, no.
But yeah, thanks y'all, and thanks for watching.
Bye, y'all, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you making rooms like this because I feel like, again, a lot of times we see each other in passing, and we're always running with our heads cut off. So I definitely enjoyed this conversation, and we for this, and happy early National Publicist Day.
Same to you. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, y'all.